Hi! Welcome to Doc Martin's Quarantine video series. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that we see very often at our Intercare clinics, and that is scoliosis. This is a condition where there is lateral deviation of the spine towards one direction. Usually, you will develop a secondary compensatory curve, giving you an S-shaped appearance on X-rays. Although severe cases of scoliosis may require bracing or surgery, most mild to moderate cases can be managed with a structured exercise program, good mobility and stability work, and great chiropractic care. More severe cases may affect your ability to breathe normally and may require coordination with an orthopedic spine specialist or a rehab doctor/physiatrist. This video is about giving you basic information about scoliosis, tips on how to evaluate whether you or your child has a scoliosis, and finally, some self-care exercises you can do to help your scoliosis. So, let's get cracking! I will be discussing two basic types of scoliosis and separate them into structural and functional. Okay. Now, a structural scoliosis is basically one of no known origin. They basically don't know how it comes about. They just observe that the spine is curved. One of the theories is that you lack a particular type of muscle fiber on one side of the spine versus the other, and that imbalance pulls the spine towards one direction, causing a scoliosis. Another possible reason for a structural scoliosis is when these bones, called the vertebra, don't develop fully, and you end up with a wedging, which now tends to create a curve because of that wedge. Another possible structural form of scoliosis is when you develop or have an anatomical short leg, which means one of your bones is physically shorter than the other. That will lead the side of the shorter leg to drop, and this will cause a curvature in your lumbar spine. A functional scoliosis, on the other hand, is one that develops slowly over time. It could be due to postural stresses, falls or injuries, or small seemingly insignificant things that add up over weeks, months, years. Basically, you can develop a functional short leg where the pelvis rotates into the wrong position, pulling the leg up higher on that side. And as the pelvis drops, it starts to create a curvature here. Those types of scoliosis can be corrected. Now, it's also possible that when the little bones of the spine misalign, it pinches the nerve, and that will cause the muscles to become imbalanced. Either they will spasm, or you have too much pull towards one side, or they can atrophy and weaken, which will cause the opposite muscle growth to pull the spine towards one direction. Both can cause a scoliosis. A functional scoliosis can be treated effectively, non-surgically or naturally, with good chiropractic care to align the hips and pelvis and to address the different stresses brought about by the curvature, or to unlock the nerve pressure that can get the muscle imbalance to correct, that can now lead to a straightening of your spine. Whether you have a structural or functional scoliosis, it's important to evaluate it during the adolescent years. During this period, people go through a period of rapid growth, and slight misalignments can lead to big curvatures if not addressed and picked up early on. So, how do you tell if you have a scoliosis? The best way is to do a simple postural evaluation. You look at somebody from behind and you check, are the hips uneven? Are the shoulder blades uneven or the height of the shoulder uneven? If one shoulder is lower than the other, one hip is lower than the other, and the shoulder blades are uneven, there's a high likelihood that there is a curvature underneath there. Another sign is to look at what they call Adam's sign, which is the humping of the ribs as the patient bends forward. So, when you have somebody bend forward and you examine the back, you'll see that one side is more prominent than the other. Okay? And you could have restricted mobility, restricted movement, and or pain. Now, here are my favorite exercises for self-care of a scoliosis. Most of these exercises we've already covered in our previous videos. So, for general spinal mobility, do the door frame exercises. Stand tall, move side to side, rotate, and go straight up. This is a great exercise to stretch your spine. Now, for general strength and stability exercises, we covered in another video called the best back exercises. Now, my favorite ones for scoliosis are the cat-cow, Superman, pelvic bridges, and diaphragmatic breathing. Let me just show you some of corrective stretches for the most common types of scoliosis. Okay, so what's going to happen is the hip is going to drop on either the left or the right side, and this is the side of the functional short leg. This will lead to a curvature of the lumbar spine going in this direction, and then a compensatory curve on the opposite direction. Occasionally, you'll also get rotation. So, the spine moves in flexion and extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. This exercise, we have a right short leg, so the right hip has dropped. This has led to a curve of the lumbar spine in this direction and a compensatory curve on this direction. Okay? So, the first thing we're going to do is have her step on a small book on the side where the hip has dropped. So, Elle, can you lift your foot? Put that up there. Okay? So, the intention of that is to support this up, which should help curve. Then you step forward with this leg. Okay, now, then what she's going to do is she's going to take this hand and stretch it towards this direction. So this will undo the curving of the spine towards here. And now we want to get rid of the rotation. So with her opposite hand, she's going to come here and she's going to rotate this way at the same time. Okay? Like this. So, we're lifting the hip up, correcting this here. We're stretching this, correcting the spine here. And then we're having her turn this way, which will correct the rotation of the spine as well. Then, one last movement that we'd like to add is, in this position, just flex and extend the spine like this. Okay? So that gets the little tiny muscles of the spine working. The little tiny spinal muscles that help support the spine. Okay, so I know it's a little complicated. I'm going to repeat it one more time on the opposite side. Okay, so Elle, can you face this way? So, this is for left hip has dropped, lumbar spine curves towards the right, compensatory curve on the upper back is towards the left. So, she steps with her left foot on a little tiny book. Step forward here, please, slightly. Okay. So this will help lift the hip up. Now, with this hand, she reaches over and stretches this way. With the opposite hand here, she rotates, so she gets rid of the rotation. And in that position, she now flexes forward and extends, flexes forward and extends. So the whole idea is to derotate the spine, put it in a neutral position, and then start flexing and extending so it exercises the little tiny muscles that hold your spine in the right place. Let us know if these exercises are helping you. Remember, this is Doc Martin saying, every day, in every way, you are getting better and better.